Good morning from Pompey. Again, it is waiting for the comet and clouds. Did you notice that COMET, CLOUD, same number of letters, both start with the letter C. In the meantime, it is a first for Dwarf 3, and that is the Rosette Nebula. We're only 8 minutes into it, and look at the beauty. We are not in equatorial mode because it is easier to look for the comet in Alt-Az mode, especially if I have to just scan the horizon back and forth, which necessitates using a lower exposure. We are 15-second exposure and a gain of 60. Comet rises at 6:13. Or 6:12, depending whom you ask. For us, it'll be closer to 6:20 before we see anything. So we have an hour on the Rosette Nebula to see what we can get out of it. The setup here, we have the dual band filter on, I think. Yes, the dual band filter on. And we're coming to you in full 4K resolution, that is 8 megapixels, all the way from the sensor to your display. If you're using a large screen, click on the settings on your YouTube player and make sure you have it selected for 4K. So you reproduce, this way you can reproduce the fidelity of the DWARF 3 sensor. On the other hand, if you're using a flip phone or a Motorola brick, then enjoy what you can. According to Amazon, my order has shipped and they're expecting to deliver it on Monday. This will be the latest addition to the Pompey Observatory. We are keeping the identity of said addition secret for now until we unveil it either Monday or Tuesday, depending if it arrives Monday during daytime or late at night. I'd like to do a live public unveiling. The only hint that I'm giving is it has the number 30 in it. It is coming by special shipment from China. Yes, I have a tracking number now. Yay! And for those who are just joining us, station identification, this is the Pompey Observatory, enjoying another reasonably clear night. We had storms moving through last night, so everything is still wet and dripping. So no mowing lawn this morning. Comet C2023A3 Tsuchinchan. We are not saying. And welcome to the channel. So the comet rises at 6:12. We expect it to clear the trees by 6:20 here. In the meantime, I am enjoying thoroughly the Rosette Nebula and the way it's coming together. We're going to stay on it for the full duration we will get of it. Good morning, Stanley. No, it is not. It is in Alt-Az mode because I want to be able to search for the comet. If the telescope does not find it when I send it to RA deck, it'll be very, very tricky to scan the horizon in equatorial mode. So I'll be scanning the horizon, which I have done in the past few days. We send it to the right ascension and declination as provided by the Sky Live. And if I don't see a comet immediately Then I just scan, knowing that it has just cleared the horizon. Then I use the dwarf controls to scan right and left until I find it. So I could not do that with equatorial mode. Having said that, this is a pretty good looking picture. I'm going to look for the Rosette Nebula, which I may have taken in the past with some other instrument, and just put it up for comparison. We are 20 minutes into stacking. Interesting bit of trivia. Well, we welcome lurkers. Thank you for lurking, Muizar. What time zone are you in? For Robocop, it's already 7:30. Robocop is in Sydney, Australia. Robocop, I hope you are looking at this picture in 4K on a large monitor. Right now, today, or as of last night, I checked again, neither Seestar app or Singularity app will run in a virtual machine on Windows subsystem for Android. The DWARF Lab app is the only one that runs in Windows subsystem for Android. GMT +3, nice. So the responsiveness of the DWARF Lab engineers has been very, very satisfying, very good. Windows subsystem for Android, and for that matter, any Android emulation or simulation or virtual machines that you can run on Windows does not, cannot, will not access Bluetooth, because that is a decision that Microsoft made, totally arbitrary decision, and their support folks will say bluntly, nope, we don't support Bluetooth, we have no plan to support it in the future. So if your app insists on having Bluetooth first to connect to the device, you're out of luck. So we asked the DWARF Lab engineers to please not check for Bluetooth when we have Wi-Fi enabled. So when we put in the app that when DWARF 3 turns on, it will turn on transmitting Wi-Fi and acting as a hotspot and allows a virtual machine to connect to it. That's how we are able to bypass the Bluetooth Microsoft block, if you want to call it that. Since nobody makes a tablet with 8 megapixel screens that I know of, that is the only way to go full 4K from sensor to user's display. I chose to go with 15 seconds to avoid any trailing stars. But this is beautiful. I mean, the stars are pinpoint, very, very sharp. And the dual band filter has been a tremendous addition, going from Dwarf 2 to Dwarf 3. I know you have sent me pictures of Tarantula Nebula in the past, but I wish I could do it with the Dwarf 3 and see what it looks like. Good morning, Patrick. This is the new Dwarf 3 telescope. We're testing the dual band filter. Thank you for joining us, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. As far as I know, we are the only astronomy channel on YouTube that streams live at full 8 megapixel resolution, full 4K, live imagery of the heavens. This morning I'm testing the Rosette Nebula while we wait for Comet C2023 A3 Tsuchinshan Atlas to rise. Robocop, no. By going equatorial mode, it is able to look below its horizon, below the telescope's horizon, which Seestar refused to do. If I put Seestar at the proper equatorial angle, which for me is 43 degrees, and I calibrate it that way, if you will, it will find targets that are above its horizon, which means I have half the sky missing that I could not target. Good morning, Frederick. But Dwarf 3 has no problem looking at targets that are below its horizon when it is mounted in equatorial mode. So for those not familiar enough with Dwarf 3, it has two cameras, two sensors, one wide angle and one telephoto. I used the wide angle to look at the Milky Way. The very first time I used it, I was blown away by how good it is. The wide angle is 60 degrees. That's wide. The telephoto is field of view is 3 degrees by 1 degree roughly. Morning, CGD. Which means targets like Andromeda, Rosette, California Nebula, North America Nebula, the Pleiades M45, even the Beehive cluster M44 do not fit within the field of view of a Vespera or a Seestar or a Stellina, and that you'll have to use for whatever it's worth mosaic mode. Dwarf 3, on the other hand, there it is. It's building the Rosette Nebula live in front of us. So the wide field of view is a feature, characteristic, property, spec, specification, whatever you want to call it. The second biggie is the dual band filter. Extremely well done. And they have finally fixed the problem of autofocus for deep sky objects. It has been focusing very, very well. I was surprised that the equatorial mode that they provided with the DWARF 3 comes with a 3-point polar alignment. You'd have to go to big observatories to find anything, any equipment that will do 3-point polar alignment automatically. Granted, there are lots of pieces of software that you can run on your own rigs that can do that, but here it's coming in a 3-pound package, 1.3 kilograms. So this morning, whether we get the Comet or not, I'm already a happy camper with the Rosette. This is an unprocessed picture. I will be processing it after we're done, but that is not the main purpose of the DWARF 3. The main purpose is to give you instant satisfaction by putting it, in my case, literally on my windowsill, staring out of the window. No tripod, no fancy setup. I have a small bracket so I can at least fasten it with a 1/4-inch bolt so it does not fall off the window. Otherwise it will be falling 3 floors down. That would not be good. But other than that, I put it up, and within 5 minutes I was live. It calibrated without fail, and it found the target immediately, and it's pretty well centered. So there was a major solar ejection a couple, 3 days ago. Thanks, Frederick, you are welcome. I hope you are subscribed to the channel, and tell your friends to subscribe. Zena, the warrior who is a regular on this channel, gave us a challenge of reaching 5,000 subscribers by Christmas. So if you guys tell your friends to subscribe, that will help us move in that direction a bit faster. Officially on this morning we are at good morning, Red Angel. We are at 4169 subscribers, 4169. Frederick, I started this channel 3 years ago because my grandchildren who live all over the world expressed interest in astronomy, and I wanted to show them what they can do. I want them to pursue science. So I started it so I can share with them things like this. I did send them telescopes, but an 80mm visual telescope will never do justice to something like the Rosette Nebula. And gradually over the past 3 years, people like you, ladies and gentlemen, expressed interest in the channel, and you forced me to become slightly more professional in my presentation. The early subscribers haunted me with the poor quality of the audio. So after going through half a dozen different microphones, we have one now that for which I do not receive as many complaints, let's say. And as of the past 6 months or so, I have become a beta tester for DWARF Lab. So I've worked with their programmers and engineers fairly closely in testing features that never made it into the app and testing other features that have made it into the app. One word describes the attitude at DWARF Lab, and that has come across plain and clear. That one word is passion. They built this device with passion. I mean, they are astronomers, they are opticians, they are electrical engineers, and they've done a good job. Frederick, we are looking forward to a full Messier Marathon this spring. Mark your calendar for March 29, actually March 28. We're going to try to do as many of the 110 objects as possible. And we're going to cap it with a unique present. M30, Messier 30 is the difficult one to get in the northern hemisphere, especially as far north as we are, because it's coming right before sunrise. But this year, the sun will rise missing a piece because we will have a partial solar eclipse at sunrise. So, fingers crossed, both hands, 4 fingers, that we'll have a clear sky that night, so we'll do the full Messier Marathon and cap it with a partial solar eclipse. And in all likelihood, it will be a multi-instrument evening, night, morning, just to play it safe. I tried buying a piece of land, about 10,000 square meters, just 2 acres, on top of a hill that gives me 360-degree views of the heavens. But the town board did not approve the subdivision because of safety issues. Given where it is located, it does not have good clearance for the road, what they call sight distance, and it is a high-speed highway, no houses near it. and cars come flying by at very high speed. But I eventually convinced the owner to lease me just a quarter acre that I can use with my telescopes, and that's where I will be. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two dogs who are anxious to go outside, so I'm going to mute the mic and let them out so I don't have to clean up inside. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Our German Shepherd and Belgian Malinois are a lot happier and they are settled. And the sky is starting to look clearer. So another 5-6 minutes we will end the Rosette Nebula capture and move east to look for the comet. Weather forecast for tonight looks good, but I have work to do in the form of testing, installing, setting up, testing the atmospheric dispersion corrector from ZWO that I got for my 11-inch Edge HD. I will set DWARF 3 in equatorial mode and point it to the Dark Shark Nebula pretty much for the entire night, while I work on adjusting the ADC onto Saturn initially, and then Jupiter, and then Mars. Big uncertainty in my mind on the atmospheric dispersion corrector is that it is about 5.5 centimeters long, just over 2 inches. As to what that might do to the ability to focus the telescope. So we'll find that out tonight. According to the Aurora dashboard from NASA, or from NOAA I should say, we are not expecting aurora this far south tonight. Last time when we were attempting to cover the Perseids meteor shower, the aurora came over us and ruined it for us. So we took pictures of the aurora instead. I look forward to testing DWARF 3 on aurora. And right now we have clouds moving in. It says current number of frames 210 and stacked 191. So we have lost the last 20 frames, which is par with the game. Yes, the sky is clouding up. We will still go to where the comet is. By the way, we found a solution to clouds. I identified the cloud filter that we will be getting sometime this winter. It's called a radio telescope. I'm not the one getting it. The State University of New York and Oswego is getting a radio telescope. And that'll allow me to look at targets through the clouds. And believe me, I plan to use it. I may actually find myself starting to look forward to cloudy nights. Not the website, but nights that have clouds. Two more minutes and we will end. We will wrap up the capture. of the rosette. We'll do it in an orderly manner so we do not lose the calibration. That's one thing that DWARF does very well. I can align it, calibrate it I should say, on a clear part of the sky and then send it to a cloudy part of the sky, and it has no problem doing that. Stellina and Seestar will not go to a target without plate solving at the target and verifying that they are there. What part of the world are you, Frederick, to be clouded out? I assume you're not in Arizona. CGD, I did not know what to expect this morning. I wanted something to fill an hour worth of dwarf 3 time, and this proved to be a good choice. Alright, time to go looking for the comet, or the clouds as it may be. Stop capture. Okay, so you're up early also. Earlier. End current session. Now this is usually not good news that we are still on the stacked frame and not live. Atlas. Coordinates. Thanks, Frederick. $11.49.50. $11.49.50. And minus 4.51. $50. And this is the big test, if Dwarf 3 wants to go there or not, based on, oh boy, it's totally cloudy sky. It's unable to focus because it cannot find any stars. It's just clouds. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for the Rosette Nebula. Another no comet morning. Yesterday it had no problem autofocusing, and then we were able to go to the comet, but today I don't see a single star in the sky. So I wish you all a good day, and we'll be back tonight with a lot to do. Promising to be a clear night, so hope to see you tonight.